Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday. It is a day that I give you guys that review of the most recent episode. So let's not waste any more time. We're going to start off with Catie. And to be honest, this one's going to be very, very interesting. As she has a conversation with her mother.
And I was bad at my birthday. I had tequila. I tried to kiss everyone I know.
That makes me sad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You drink and your behavior gets obnoxious.
It's interesting. She says, that makes me sad. Catie says, I'm sorry. You know, whenever Catie says sorry, she always says in the exact same tone, exact same demeanor every time, I'm sorry. You know, and really and truly, it's just a reflex. It's not a story that she ever means. This means to me that for the longest time possible, she grew up always saying, I'm sorry. But the thing is, those stories, the more and more she said them, the more and more they meant absolutely nothing. But why? The mum sat there and said, the drinking. You know when you drink, you get at hand. But before we get into the drinking part, why is it her stories have become so numb? It's because, you see, her parents were not disciplined within their parenting. What do I mean? Hold on a minute. Let's play a little bit more.
You're going to hurt somebody someday. I don't want to blame a lot of her behavior on OCD, but she's got a lot of internal struggles with all those voices telling her, gosh, and I want...
You see, the mum straight away goes on and talks about OCD. Says, I don't want to blame OCD. Interesting. The mum also did speak that, you know, pretty much raising Catie was rather annoying. She literally said the word annoying. Now, recently we have come to the conclusion ourselves that Catie's behavior isn't due to OCD. It's not due to OCD combined with alcohol. Her behavior is based on the fact that, more or less, she has shown us more and more signs that she is nothing but an alcoholic. Because the way she twitches, she can't stay still, everything she does, everybody has identified to be an alcoholic. And then also, last episode, she had a conversation with that guy. And the guy that she had a conversation with, he literally said, Catie, like, your drinking is literally out of hand. You need to get this under control. If you don't, then you may lose Josh. Even had the same conversation with Josh about the alcohol. And now she's having the same conversation again with the mother regarding the alcohol. The mum mentions the alcohol. You know, when you drink, your behavior goes places where it shouldn't be going. So we know for a fact more and more as we put things together, this woman is nothing but an alcoholic. But here's the thing though, folks. Why do I talk about the mum when I say about the issue is that the mum is that she lacked discipline? But you see, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most recurring things in life that we all go through, no matter how old we are, is a simple word a simple word called rules. We live a life where we have to abide by rules, but we also live a life where some of us may break those rules. But at the same time, though, people break rules for different reasons. But let's stick to a certain specific context of the word rules. If you've got a job, you have to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, what happens? You may get fired. You may get suspended. Something bad happens if you don't follow the rules. If you are when you was a child, if you did not follow the rules that your parents set, what happened? You got in trouble. But if you go to a workplace and your boss sets rules, and you don't follow the rules, but the boss still pays you, still doesn't suspend you, still allows you to work there, what happens? You will continue to keep breaking those rules and being sly about them because you know you can, because you know a boss is a doormat. The same thing has children. When we are raising children, when our parents give us rules, if we don't follow the rules and our parents don't follow up by the punishments or the consequences that they tell us we're going to have if we don't follow the rules, well, guess what? If we break the rules and our parents don't live by their word, we continuously keep breaking the rules. So the matter of the fact is, this is obviously clearly Catie's pattern. Hell, this is a pattern with a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of parenting these days that's really interesting because there's a lot of people that set rules down, but then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, I'm actually going to break the rules because you're too cute. I'm going to break the rules because I don't want to be like my mummy. I'm going to break the rules for blah, 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 blah. No. Set rules and stand by your rules. Sometimes you may have to set rules and then sometimes you may have to adjust them a little bit depending on the situation, but you've still got to stay true to the rule, even if you adjust it a little bit. Do you see what I'm saying? The foundation is key. But either way, though, it tells me that clearly when it came to Catie and it came to her mother, it came to her father, anyone else around her life, even the church that she went to, rules were never stuck by. Or there's always the other alternative where rules were taken too far. When you take rules too far, children can rebel. There is also that too. That's why there has to be a level balance when it comes to rules. There's people that go too far and there's people that just don't stick with it, right? Tells me that when it comes to Catie, she's been allowed to get away with murder for as long as time as possible, which is why she is the way she is, which is why it's so easy for her to say, I'm sorry, but never actually mean it, because all she's ever done her whole life is say, I'm sorry, and mommy and daddy been like, okay. Nah, sometimes sorry ain't good enough. She clearly wasn't taught that. And the fact that mum wants to sit here and say, oh, it was an OCD, tells me that she's a lazy parent. It tells me that the second that her daughter got diagnosed with something, that being OCD, she was like, oh, maybe that's why she's the way she is. So therefore, what am I going to do? I guess we're going to have to just work. We're just going to have to adjust around our child, which can be a good thing. But some people do it in the wrong way. You can adjust your child to understanding certain things, so therefore you can make things work, but they still understand the rules. But there's some people who are like, well, because I know my child is this, and that, in that case, all the rules, get out the window. Child, be who you want to be, and I won't discipline you ever. And all of us are you're thinking, why is my child like this? More of the stories, Catie was strongly let down by her parents, clearly, and so are so many kids of today. And to be fair, probably many of us now, even as we are adults, you know. I can say that I was. But anyway, let's continue.
You to do what it takes to keep him, because he's made you more stable as a person.
To change if I want to get married, but I feel like I have to make these big changes in such a short amount of time.
The fact that Catie believes that she's got a short amount of time to make changes before marrying Josh is crazy business. Because how long have you known this man? You've known him long enough to know that you was okay with him finally making the move to America, even though he's the one that pushed for the move to America more than she wanted him to move, which, to be fair, that's more his issue than it is hers, but she still accepted it. So the matter of the fact is, she's got to make a choice. Does she want to stick with this guy, or does she want to bounce? And she needs to make that choice ASAP. Because at the end of the day, if she's going to decide that she wants to be with him, well, then she can't have the mentality of, I haven't got enough time to figure it out. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you can't make the decision to want to be with someone if you feel like you don't have enough time. Do you see what I'm saying here? So therefore, really and truly, based on how Catie speaks, based on what she says, really and truly, Katie's better off not marrying Josh and bouncing. But the thing is, though, I think the reason why the mum was trying to push her to stay with Josh and to be the way, you know, and to not break things off or not to ruin things, is because I think the mum just wants someone to have to look after her daughter. She wants someone else to have the burden, someone else to have the responsibility. And because the mum such that Josh is clearly gullible and naive enough to stick around, she's thinking, please make him stick around, because if he doesn't, then you're going to keep coming back here all the time and I have to keep dealing with you. Yeah, so I do question why the mum really and truly wants Josh to stick around, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, though, let's move on to the next one. And this one here is all about Mallorie and Rasit. And this one's very, very interesting.
I want a prenup just to protect the brokerage account I put, the settlement in my house before, I even knew Rosh existed. God forbid if something happens between us in 10, 15 years, the house is in my name, I work my ass off to take half of it.
Prenups aren't really a thing, necessarily where I'm from, obviously here in the UK per se. And prenups obviously wasn't necessarily always a thing for a long time, right? They only become more glorified in America by the sounds of it more than ever. And I do wonder though, why are prenups so crucial these days though? Are people potentially in America or any other country where prenups are so popular? Is it because in those countries divorce rates are so high that prenups are now a thing? But at the same time, are prenups a thing? Wait, what? Yeah. So are prenups a thing because divorce rate is so high? The point I'm trying to make is that really and truly, when you decide to marry somebody, the prenup conversation probably shouldn't come up. But listen, if I'm going to propose to someone, I'm proposing because I genuinely believe that they are my person. That's it. They are my ride or die. I'm their ride or die. So to be honest with you, this whole prenup thing has been so normalized in today's society. It's sad. And this is why, it's a more than ever it kind of identifies that maybe you shouldn't be with that person. But the question is, though, is she thinking about a prenup because she's unsure about him? Or is she thinking about a prenup because society has normalized the idea of a prenup?
Did you ever take into consideration that he packed his whole life up to move here?
Completely honest, seeing Brandon take Rosh's side in this argument is mind-blowing to me. But Brandon isn't gonna bull. If Brandon doesn't agree with something just because you're his friend, he's gonna tell you.
And you know what, though? I respect that out of Brandon a whole lot. This man has done nothing. Rasheed's done nothing but disrespect him. But you know what, though? He was like, but I'm still gonna stand on business because this ain't right. I respect it highly.
You.
All he wants from her is just her love.
That's true, but she worked her ass off, and then she almost died last year, and like everything that she has, she's worked so hard for. No,
You can't weigh.
I mean, listen, yes, fair enough, she almost died, XYZ, but like that doesn't mean a prenup should still be a part of the conversation. Anything that happened in her life before Rasit was in her life is not relevant to this conversation. She decided that she wants to be with him. She decided to ask him to leave America and to leave Turkey and to come to America. If you're in a position where you're now ready to ask your person to leave their country, to leave their city, leave their state, leave whatever the hell they are, to come and move where you are at, so you can have a marriage, you're saying that I believe that you're my person. But if you're gonna ask someone to move to where you're at, and then say, but you know what, they want a prenup. Now I don't know if I'm your person, because now you're putting doubts in the relationship. If for me personally, like I feel like prenups should be for like maybe people in the celebrity world, like people who've got like this crazy wealth, earning like, you know, I don't know, like 200k or 500k or something like a year or something like that. I mean, you know, people that have like, you know what I mean? But like, it's kind of sad that the average person, us, the average people on the average salary, it's kind of sad and crazy that we are in positions where we think prenups is okay. Because what? I mean, listen, like I said, it's wild to me that prenups become normalized. It's very sad. It's literally it puts a stain on the idea of marriage. In my opinion, if a prenup is gonna be an idea, just don't get married. Do you know what I mean? Maybe just be that person, just never get married. And to be fair, sometimes not getting married works best for people. I don't know if I ever want to get married, to be fair. I mean, listen, if I find my person, I'm more than happy to be with them, but I don't know if marriage is necessary, to be honest with you, you know? But if I decide I want to marry that person, trust me, a prenup is not going to be a conversation. Unless, of course, I'm like a millionaire, then I'm going to be like, hey, I gotta be a bit careful because you might be with for the wrong reason. I might just not see it coming. You know what I mean? You might blindside me. Yeah, you know what? You know what I mean? Or I'll do the new tactic. Not get a prenup. I put all of my assets in someone else's name. Think smart, not stupid. Let's continue.
Financial assets over what he gave up. You think he has into you? Why not do the same and put everything you've got into him?
Have valid points, but at the end of the day, they're not in my shoes and they didn't go through half of the things that I went through. So honestly, their opinions really don't matter to me.
Although hold on.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if it's about what she's been through, if it's truly about what she's been through, well then that should make it easier for her to decide that should make it easier for her to decide the type of person that she wants to be with. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you're going to sit and say, well, you don't know what I've been through, blah, 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 well, then all you're telling me is basically, like, look at it this way. Everything that I've been through determines who I'm going to be with. You see what I'm saying? It allows me to judge and understand someone that I want more than ever. Do you see what I'm saying? The more things we've been through in life helps us understand the type of person we're looking for. So really and truly, she should know the type of person that she's looking for. If it's not him, then what are you doing?
I want to say I am sorry about everything.
Well, it's good to see that Rasit decided to apologize to Brandon, and now these two can move on. But at the end of the day, Brandon was never going anyway because they're all friends regardless, and that's just the grand scheme of it, isn't it now? Now, with that being said, we're going to move on to the next one, and this one here being about Mallorie and Edward.
His fear, though, is that, like, I did make a mistake.
A certain level of sophistication that the people that I run with have, and let's be honest, my relationship with Edward isn't necessarily one that's based on intellect.
Yeah, okay. Your relationship with Edward isn't based on intellect. Hold that thought.
Relationship was based on a physical attraction at first, and now I'm concerned that we're not going to meet at an intellectual level.
You know, like sometimes people say things and they think they sound intelligent, but really and truly they sound dumber than what they realize. Okay, so you're saying that your relationship with Edward lacks intellect. Okay, cool. You're also saying that obviously you understand that your relationship with him to begin with was based on physical attraction. All right, cool. But now you've decided, after going back and forth to visit him, to continue your relationship that's based on attraction, you then both got to a point where you decided that it was best to bring him. Oh yeah, but remember, originally they was going to bring him to the USA on a visitor visa, but that got denied. So therefore they applied for the K1 visa instead. Alright, cool. And then that's what ended up bringing him to the States. But here's the thing though, right? If you knew this whole time as an intellectual person that your relationship with Edward was based on attraction, and you hadn't even thought about the intellectual part, well, then that makes you stupid. Because at the end of the day, you should have been intellectual enough to realize and to recognize that, hold on a minute, before I decide to go ahead with plan B or bring him on a Cameo visa, I've got to make sure that this is a man that has the same intellect as me. A man that I can have a conversation with at the same level that I like to have conversations with. So really and truly, if he was intellectual, you'd have thought of that. But here's the thing, folks. That was never the problem. The problem isn't because they don't have an intellect conversations. The problem's something else. But let's wait for it.
Edward hasn't been exposed to a lot of things that I do in my normal life, so I'm a little concerned about his inability to adapt to social standards. I mean, my friend group.
You see?
They're to social standards. I mean, my friend group, they're a bunch of successful women and men. And, we talk about sophisticated things sometimes. And
so moral of the story is, this has nothing to do with the fact that she cannot have a conversation with Edward that is intellectual. It has nothing to do with that in any shape or form. It's the fact that she's concerned that whenever Edward is around her friends, that he will embarrass her because he will not be able to have a conversation with her friends that is based on intellect, that is based on success. He won't be able to turn up and say, well, this is my business right now and this is what I'm doing. Hell, this woman went as far as telling him that when we go see my friends, do not talk about golf with the men. Or whatever, or baseball, whichever sport it was, okay? Talk about something else. She was telling him what he can and cannot say. I'm going to tell you what, I've been in this position before. When you're with somebody, right, where when they're away from their friends and family and it's just you and them, they will show you all the TLC possible. They will enjoy every single part of who you are as a person because you're that person that allows them to escape that life of being around people that have a certain standard. But all of a sudden, when they bring you around those people with that standard, they want you to become like them. Fake. They want you to adapt and to pretend to be someone that you're not because they want you to please those people that they deem as friends. Her biggest issue, and the matter of the fact is, as an intellectual person, is that she's not intellectually smart enough to recognize that she's clearly trying to suppress who he is because she's embarrassed that he can't have a conversation with her better friends, and therefore she's worried that her friends are going to judge her for being with somebody that is not intellectually smart or successful in life, business-wise, considering that's what they all do. Darling, clearly your intellectual mind only goes as far as stupidity. Honestly, it's embarrassing. It's absolutely, utterly embarrassing. I've been there myself, to be honest, and it's not nice. The many times I had to tell my ex one time, like, listen, like, stop trying to put me in conversations that I don't want nothing about. You go around family, and if I'm quiet because I have nothing to say. Just let me be. I'm good. But now you got to try and get me involved in conversation. Why? You know what I mean? If I did something impressive, tell him about that thing you did. Why? I'm not a showboat. Why? Leave me alone. Like, So, yeah. I mean, listen, Edward, man. Like, I feel for him. Marissa's moving mad.
is that partner going to make you the best person that you are? Or are they going to not bring out your best? And right now I'm not my best, and that's scary.
The maddest thing about it, she said that Edward actually always did bring out her best. The only reason why he's not bringing your best now is not because of him. He's not bringing your best now because you're embarrassed of him. You are the reason why your best isn't coming up. You are the reason why you are stressed and always in a mood. Because you're too busy paranoid about Edward behaving in a way that you need him to behave to impress other people that aren't even relevant to your relationship. So the fact that she's putting that on him is nuts.
Feeling. The one thing that I always loved about Edward is that he did bring out the best in me. And now that he's here, I'm just the exact opposite. And it makes me really scared that...
It makes her really scared that maybe he's not the man for me. It makes me really scared that maybe he's not the one I should be marrying too. You know what though? Listen, if anybody should be saying you're not that person, it should be him. You literally went to another country, you fell in love with the guy from another country who done a job that was whatever job it was, okay? And then you decided that he makes you feel good. He makes you feel young. He gives you the butterflies. You feel amazing when you're around him. So you say, you know what? I actually want this man in my life. But then all of a sudden, he comes to... You know what's crazy though? The fact that originally they were going to do a visitor visa tells me everything I need to know. She knows that she wants him. But the matter of the fact is, though, is she was like, I need to do a visit first to see if I can mold him around my friends. And also, most importantly, to see if my friends are going to approve of him. She wanted her friends' approval before jumping the gun for marriage. But she didn't get a chance. So now she's gone to a plan B of K1 visa and now trying to mold him instead rather than trying to see XYZ. But you know what the good thing about her friends though? Her friends said, I've never seen you like this. And even her friends even called her and said, like, it seems to me as if you're just embarrassed about who he is. Called her out, said, you're just embarrassed. And I love that because that means she's actually got good friends. She hasn't got friends that care about judgment. She's got friends that clearly care about her just being with somebody that makes her happy. Simple as 1, 2, 3. She's draining herself and trying to act as if it was him. Nah, lady, it's all you. But nonetheless, let's move on to the next one. And this one's all about Shea, Annabelle, and Allison, his daughter.
Well, do you want to go try Catholic church with us?
I'm not going to move churches or religions. I mean, she's the one coming into our life. Bitch, please leave us alone, okay?
To be honest with you, in my opinion, Annabelle was in the wrong for the whole thing because she literally went into church with them and she was nothing but disrespectful. She was complaining about this, then falling asleep, then complaining, then falling asleep. So I can understand Allison's frustrations and as well as Shea, but let's dive into obviously how they go around it.
You're my ass. I'm not disrespectful in your my ass.
I don't like the charts.
Annabelle, you don't need to be rude. Not a church.
I mean, she's being rude. She's got a rude face. I don't even think I've seen her smile once.
That is a good point.
Our facial expressions are important here. We don't just walk around like we are mad at the world. I just don't like changes. I don't like you coming over here and changing everything.
Okay, that's enough.
That makes me a brat, then I'm a brat.
All right, listen, boom. Is Allison a brat? Yes. But in this situation, no. You know, because at the end of the day, you've come in, you know, you've moved. You've come to our location. All you're trying to do is change everything. You're not even trying to actually get to know me for me or get to know anyone for them. You're coming in with your opinions, just judging us in every single turn, at every single moment. So I do definitely understand where Allison is coming from because right now, at this moment in time, it seems to me as if Annabelle's mission has been more to come and change things rather than trying to, you know, adapt or trying to understand things. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to the infidelity accusations, when it comes to obviously how Shea is when he's drinking, fully understand her to want to rein in his drinking, rein in his lifestyle that's obviously clearly unhealthy for himself, both physically, mentally, and for their relationship. That I completely understand. But when it comes to his relationship with his daughter, if anything, she should be doing her best to just try and get to know his daughter. And the funny thing is about it is that Annabelle was more than comfortable to go to Allison and ask her about what her dad really does when she was in Philippines and beyond, you know, obviously when she wasn't here. So she had that confidence to go ask her that. And that was a very good moment for them to really connect moving forward. But instead, she just wanted to use Allison to find out the truth and then therefore go and do what she wants to do with it. Which, listen, sometimes I get the motive. I understand it. But at the same time, though, I understand that Allison's going to be in your life for the rest of your life as long as you decide to be with Shea. So therefore, it's important that you at least try and build a relationship with her. Now, don't get me wrong. Could Shea have done a better job of raising his child or that kind of stuff? Maybe yes, but is it Annabelle's place to say? Absolutely not. At the end of the day, your relationship, your child's relationship. Unless you ask me to come in and be a stepmother, different conversation, but you're not. You know? So really and truly, Annabelle should definitely change your tone though when it comes to getting to know Allison, and maybe her and Allison can they may end up having things in common. They may end up actually having a decent relationship, do you know what I mean? And if anything, maybe Annabelle could be that role model female figure that Allison is missing her whole life. You can't come into someone's world that's 30 plus years old and tell them that they're a brat and tell them that they're this and that. That's not going to do anything, you know? If you want to teach someone that is older, certain things, you come in, you be nice, and you hope that your kindness and you hope that the way you conduct things will hopefully influence them to do better. Influencing an adult is far much more the better approach compared to trying to tell them how to behave. And hell, I would even say the same thing with a teenager. Influencing teenagers is better than telling them how to behave. But of course, rules still have to be put in place for teenagers, you know what I mean? Because they're still kids, you know what I'm saying? It's just, there's a different type of leeway there. Not leeway, different type of adaptation, that's the word. But let's continue anyway.
I don't want you upset with Annabelle. Annabelle, you need to be more open-minded to Allison, too.
She's rolling her eyes while you're talking.
Yeah, why are you rolling your eyes? See?
Pissed off right now because Annabelle has a horrible attitude. The longer
Honestly, and the matter of fact is, Annabelle can't even complain about Allison's attitude right now because you're literally doing the same thing, you know what I mean? You're being so much more disrespectful, you know? So you can't complain about her being disrespectful or whatnot while you're doing the same. Like, if you're going to expect a certain level of respect from somebody else, make sure you're ready to deliver it.
She's here, it's like the more her attitude gets. It's like she's entitled to everything and us making changes for her.
Why are you rolling your eyes when I'm talking?
That is a fair point. You all want you know, she wants them all to make changes for her, but yet she's not doing the same. Listen, in life, you got to give to give. You got to give to receive. You know what I'm saying?
You know me better, right?
Okay, but when I'm
You know
talking,
me.
I'm feeling pissed off right now. I mean, Annabelle, since the day she's landed, has been something. I don't think she's fit for my dad. And I mean, at this point, if the wedding was tomorrow, I would not be going.
The thing is, though, I do believe that Annabelle is fit to be. She is fit for her dad, but her dad needs someone like Annabelle in his life. That I will not discredit. Definitely, you know, I mean, especially on social media recently, we've seen him lose a significant amount of weight since Annabelle has been in his life. So she's been a great person for him, 1000%. But Annabelle needs to do better in other areas. I think for Annabelle, she's more focused on I just came for your father. Listen, you've come to marry somebody who's got kids. You've got to make a relationship. If you can't make a relationship and you don't care about making a relationship with somebody that has kids, then what the hell are you doing? And again, making a relationship with somebody's kids is not the same as stepping in to be the kid's parent. Nobody's asking to be a bloody parent. Just make a respectful relationship. Simple as 1, 2, 3. But hey, you know, some people just like to do things the hard way. But with that being said, though, we're now going to move on to the last one, Mido and Debby.
You know what you want to do career-wise. We need to, like, finalize things a little more closer to home soon. Relationship stuff, it's okay. If I ask him something about acting, it's a 20-minute long conversation.
And this should tell you everything that you need to know about your relationship with him, Debs. But Debby doesn't want to listen, doesn't want to see the signs.
I wish he'd be that excited about me as he is his acting stuff.
The fact that she acknowledges that he's not even that excited about her says everything about how she just doesn't want to listen.
Just need to make sure that you're here for us and not for anything else.
you know that.
Sometimes
The fact that he said you know that is crazy because he's literally saying that you know I'm here for Hollywood. That's what he's saying.
I just need to hear it.
Okay.
We only have a month left until his visa expires. Not once has he said anything about getting married.
How many times has she asked him to tell me you love me? How many times has she asked him to tell me you want to marry me? And every time he's like, okay. And yet you're still asking him.
That really does not sit well with me. Only do I not know where he wants to get married. I don't know if he wants to get married at all.
But yet you will still keep pushing the narrative to want to marry him, even though he's giving you no signs of wanting to marry you. Even though your friends have even told you not to marry him. Even your daughters told you that.
I think it's time to return back home.
What's going on? You need to talk now. You cannot just shut up after saying that.
I can't find myself here.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for you. This is a blessing in disguise. But the only thing is, I'm pretty sure Mido's still in America, so I don't know if he actually does go back home. I guess that's something I'm going to have to wait and find out. But either way, though, the matter of the fact is, if he does truly go back home and they don't get married, that is nothing but a beautiful blessing in disguise for you, Debs. Simple as that. But if he doesn't go back home and you do actually get married and all that kind of stuff, which I think did happen, I'm not too sure. Yeah. Understand this. This man is not marrying you. He's marrying Hollywood. Well, he's marrying the dream of Hollywood. That's it. He doesn't talk about you. He doesn't want to hold your hand. Doesn't want to kiss you. He doesn't want to do anything with you, both physically or emotionally. Anything that he wants to do involves him being this far away to the point that he's saying, bye-bye, I'm going to Hollywood. Bye-bye. 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 Next thing you know, he'll be in Hollywood. And while he's in, to be fair, what am I lying for? First of all, he's never going to make it to Hollywood because he's not that guy. But let's just say he did make it to Hollywood, right? Understand this, Debs. If he made it to Hollywood, you'd be trying to ring him on your hotline bling. You'd be trying to ring him and he won't be answering the phone because he's going to get what he wants. That's simple. But this is the thing. This is the question that I have, though. If he never actually does make it into Hollywood or into any acting in America, I'm curious, will he actually still... No, this is what I want to know. By the time he gets his green card and he gets his residency, his work permit, all that kind of stuff, by the time he gets it, if he has not progressed, is he going to bounce on Debby? That's what I want to know. I don't know. Listen, whatever will be, will be. And at the end of the day, I will not feel sorry for any shape or form because the signs have been there and she's ignored them. But nonetheless, thank you so much for your time and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe.